In the early hours of June 22nd, 2016 at 3:30 a.m., emergency responders raced to a raging fire at Hillcrest Meadow Mobile Home Park in Bemidji, Minnesota. In the burned house, firefighters found the body of 35-year-old Melissa Norby. Her wrists were tied and was under a mattress. Special Agent Paul Girardi of the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension was assigned to this case. Initially, authorities believed the case centered around the fire and Norby's death, and didn't know it was about to take another shocking turn. 8 hours later, while they were still investigating the scene, a panicked and distraught mother approached them, revealing a chilling twist. Her 5-year-old daughter had spent the night at Melissa's home. This was shocking because at this point, the investigators had done a complete search of the burn trailer and there was no sign of a child. This panicked mother was Amanda Smith, and her child Brittany was now missing. Amanda Smith and Melissa Norby had been close friends for 30 years. Amanda trusted Melissa completely and often left her daughter in Melissa's care. After investigators did another thorough search and still couldn't find the child, they believed the person who started the fire also killed Melissa and took Brittany. They began looking at people Melissa knew, including who she was dating. From this, they learned about Melissa's personal life and some shady things about her intimate life. They were able to clear most of people Melissa knew. But then they got a tip about a man she had been dating recently. His name was Jacob Kin. Jacob was a resident of Bemidji and owned a food truck. The police also knew him very well because he was a registered sex offender who was still on probation for child pornography charges in 2012. Knowing this, they knew they had to act fast. Police contacted Jacob Kin immediately over the phone and asked him to come to the station for questioning. He arrived around midnight. From the start, Kin denied any involvement in the case. He denied having anything to do with Melissa's murder or Brittany's kidnapping. He even got quite defensive.
Cell phone didn't put him there. Where were you when Tiffany called you?
Absolutely.
Standing on the dock in your vehicle? Where were
I
you?
was packing up, getting ready to leave anyways.
Okay. And what time did she call you? Look at your phone.
No, it was
Look
like
at your phone.
10:23 or 20.
Look at your phone. Show me the call. We can see the time.
It was 10:23 or 10:27, and my phone started beeping. I had to call her back.
Okay.
The police asked Jacob where he was the night of the fire. He said he was out fishing at Clear Lake. But what Jacob didn't know was that they had already tracked his phone and it showed he had been in a remote place called Big Fork, which is about 80 miles away from where he said he was. The police had just caught him in a big lie. The police confronted him about this lie, but Jacob still denied. Fortunately, a dispatcher in Big Fork, Minnesota, recognized Jacob's name and informed the police that his family owned a property just 3 miles from the location where his phone had pinged. With this new lead, investigators seized Jacob's car and cell phone, and he left the station. On Jacob's phone, investigators found disturbing evidence. Messages revealed that he and Melissa had been planning Brittany's abduction for some time. Their plan was for Melissa to keep Brittany overnight, then allow Jacob to take her and keep her as her little toy, as they referred to her. Police believe Jacob killed Melissa after getting Brittany, because he didn't want Melissa as a witness to his crime. With all this information, investigators headed to Big Fork the next morning in search of Brittany, a search that felt like looking for a needle in a haystack because this was a huge property in a very remote area. But the investigators had noticed that Jacob's truck had muddy tires and plants stuck underneath. This showed he had driven through a wet wildflower field area. His phone also showed he was only 3.1 miles from his family's land. The area was very remote, so they knew that fresh tire tracks could help them track his movements. As they reached the road leading to King's family property, they discovered tire tracks that matched those on his truck. The tracks led directly to a small camper with its door taped shut. The officer quietly opened the door, and there was little Brittany, still in her pink pajamas, on a bed in this tiny camper. Her legs were bound by electric tape, and she was scared. But she was alive and now safe. One of the officers took this photo and sent it back to the station with just a simple text: arrest him. With that, the police rushed to arrest. They found him on the highway, heading toward Big Fork, likely on his way back to the camper to move Brittany, or even worse, to harm her. They brought him in again, and when he asked what changed in just 48 hours, they showed him the picture they took with Brittany and simply said, "This changed."
With the little girl. You didn't see her. She didn't come to your food station. You didn't see her at Melissa's house. You don't know her parents. And there's going to be no connection between you and her.
That's right.
And
Whatsoever, in any way, shape, or form.
whatsoever.
Okay.
And no connection between you and Melissa.
Well, not
Well, I mean, when I
here,
say
though.
connection, is there going to be any evidence that says you were in Melissa's house?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay. And that gas can that we talked about, showed you a picture. Is that any of your evidence going to be on that? You know, DNA or fingerprints?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
So,
Nothing's changed from last night.
no,
100% sure?
95% sure. What's the 5%
Yeah.
reason? I'm tired and groggy, and you guys kept me up all night, and I
Yeah.
tried to sleep. Sleep in a vehicle for 2 hours, and I'm still
A little tired, groggy?
extremely tired, yes.
Okay.
But you didn't really answer my question.
What was your question?
What changed between 2 hours ago and now? Like, is that the 5% that you're talking about that you're not sure of?
Now, let's start over. What do you got to tell us?
Now is the time, Jake. Okay, we know more than you think we do right now. Right. And now's the time for you to fill in those blanks. And now's the time for you to come clean and tell us what really's happened here and what's really gone on. Now's the time for you to stand up and do that.
Take us through the night.
Jacob King was arrested and charged with second-degree unintentional murder, first-degree criminal sexual conduct, and kidnapping. He pleaded guilty to these charges and was sentenced to 52 years in prison in 2017. Despite everything she went through, Brittany is doing well and thriving. She's a very strong and brave girl. At Jacob's sentencing, she made sure her voice was heard. Her victim impact statement was read, where she expressed how much she hated him. The law enforcement officials involved in the case received the Heroes Award in Washington, D.C., from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. They deserve this award because they worked so hard to solve this case, and we are all grateful that they brought little Brittany